Guys, we're coming to you live in Amazon Seller Tribe this Sunday evening for a very exciting moment, celebrating with two beautiful ladies here. And I'm super excited about this. Some of you saw on my personal Facebook wall that I took about 48 hours off to scamper up to Kansas City and hug and love on my grandbabies who were waiting by the door and wagging their little tails so excitedly. And I was excited to see them. But during that time that I was up there, I saw a post in Amazon Seller Tribe that just made me just do a jig. And I'm not good at jigs, but I like to do them, especially when we see the kinds of things that these girls were posting. So guys, I just want you to say welcome to Debbie and Kylie Spencer. And we're going to just get to know them a little bit today. And also, you're about to hear an awesome seller success story. So chestnuts roasting on an open fire, Jack Frost nipping at your nose, wherever you live, just settle in, because we're going to get to know these girls and appreciate them so much. I actually met you guys for the very first time down in Kentucky. Is that correct?
Yes, that's right.
So I didn't think I'd ever met you in person before, but I was very blessed to get to meet you down in Kentucky and have a few conversations as I was dashing to and fro. For whatever reason, dashing was happening, and appreciate meeting you guys. And Kylie also was called up to the front, I think, because we called up all of the 20-somethings, because I realized all of a sudden we have all this youth in our tribe. And I didn't know until the Kentucky event how many 20-somethings we had as members of the tribe. And Kylie's one of those 20-somethings. So let's start with you, Kylie. Were you, like a lot of us, were you born at an early age? Just teasing. Throw a curveball to her right away. Now, go ahead and tell us if you don't mind. Since you're on the other end of the spectrum from me, tell us how old you are, really.
Oh, I'm 22.
Just, if I remember correctly, just turned 22 not long ago. One of you had a birthday not long ago. Is that true? It was you?
Yeah, I had a birthday in March when the first tribe that we were in.
Oh, and during your the Tribe 3 coaching round. So that was your first coaching round that you went through. And so you turned 22 during that time. So Debbie, it must have been you that just had a birthday this fall. So anyways, 22 years old and doing Amazon masterfully, I might add. So Debbie, just kind of frame up your life for me just a little bit. Tell us where you guys live, who you surround yourself with, who makes your world go around, and tell us a little bit about your family.
Okay. I've been married to my husband, Brian, for 30 years. We had 3 daughters. Our oldest is 25. And then Kylie's our middle daughter, and our youngest daughter is going to Grand Valley and Grand Rapids, Michigan. And we live in a tiny little town called Waldron, Michigan. It's 2 miles off the Ohio line. Any direction we go, it takes us about 35 minutes to get to a Walmart.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So you're really what we would call out in the middle of nowhere, more or less.
Yeah, we are. We have a gas station, and the big news is we're getting a Dollar General. So,
whoa!
Yeah.
Oh, the metropolitan region is growing.
Okay. Yeah, exactly.
So when you say things like that, what we're going to get into, it becomes all the more amazing, because when people realize you're not in the middle of a suburban area, an urban area where there's lots of retail resources around you to do arbitrage, it begins to take on another thinking process. You need to be looking deeper, right? It may be a little bit harder for you to get inventory than it would be for somebody who's sitting in the middle of San Antonio, for example.
Right. It takes time and effort to do.
Take some time and effort. So let's talk about that. When did you guys begin selling on Amazon? And how did you find out about it? How did you get in this space?
Well, my family, we kind of got some entrepreneurs in my family. My grandfather started an independent insurance agency, and then my parents worked there, took over the business, and then my husband joined the business at one point. And my brother started a modular home business. And so that's where I was working. I actually worked for him. And then in 2008, when the market kind of went south,
right,
I was out of a job. And so I joined the insurance business and got my license. And so then the homes picked up again. So I was actually working at the insurance office, then leaving and going to the modular home business all in the same day.
So you really kind of having a side hustle, so to speak, or a second hustle is not new to you. I mean, that was just something you were naturally doing, right?
I was filling in the gaps where my parents and family needed. And then my youngest sister, when she was a sophomore in high school, we switched her to a Christian school, which was 40 minutes away, and it was hard to do because we're very community oriented, and to take her out of that community school was very hard, and then to have to take 40 minutes to get her there and then go back and get her, and the commitment that cost with the tuition. But as God does, he always rewards us with great things. So she got a very good friend there named Lexi that she adored, and we got to know her. And then entering her senior year, we went to a senior rewards, or it was going into her senior year to tell us what to expect for that year. And we went to a table with Lexi and her mother. And I'd never met her before. And, you sit down, and of course, awkward getting to know you stage. And I asked her, what, you get to, what do you do? And she said, she threw out all these words that I was like, what is that? E-commerce and arbitrage. And I was like, so what does that mean? So she was kind enough to tell me her story, Tracy Anderson. So if you're watching, she's
Tracy. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Was a doll. I mean, she told me her story. All she kept saying was, I love it. And Kylie, so to give you a little clue on Kylie, she is this meek little quiet person, people think, but she is very competitive, very hardworking. And it was always her goal to be her own boss. It was never really my goal.
Debbie, it's always the quiet ones you got to watch out for. I mean, they're sneaky. They're sneaky dudes, they're crossing the finish line while the rest of us are talking about crossing the finish line. Right?
That's exactly how she was. In high school, she took classes to learn how to make cupcakes and cookies and decorate things. And she sold that on the side. And then she went to college for business and entrepreneur. She didn't know what it was going to be. Thought maybe it'd be baking, but knew that was going to be a hard life to live, And so when I heard about this, I knew that would be something she would just be excited about. So I came home, and that was about September, and told her about it.
September of what year?
2018.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not long ago.
Of course, I dragged my feet because I'm already doing 2 jobs, and I don't need another job to have to do. But she kept saying, come on, Mom, we got to do this. Come on, we got to do this. So I kept emailing Tracy, and she was so kind to answer all my questions. And I'm like, I know I shouldn't ask you this, but how much do you make? I had to know, is this worth it or not? Yeah, and it was great. She was all excited about it, and we thought, okay, this is what we want to try. And so about October, we kind of started getting our feet wet little by little. We learned the business. Kylie, I'd come home from work, and she's like, come on, we got to go do this. So we we take one step at a time and learn it. And we finally got things live, and it wasn't long before we sold the first thing. And then we sold another thing. And then it's like, I kept thinking, I'd be happy if we just sold $100. And next thing I know, we're at 100. Then I got 1,000. And then, you know, we got there before long. And so, God's timing was perfect, as it always is. And
So you think
2019
about,
was a
so let me just interrupt here just a second to stop there at that moment when you started seeing the sales come in. I would imagine, now this I may be wrong on this, but I would imagine you got really excited and you know, emotional about that. And Kylie was probably like, well, yeah.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, of course. That's what we're here for. You know, she was probably a lot more matter of fact than you were. Am I right about that?
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's what we're doing here, right?
Very much. Yes.
So Kylie, do you as a young person, this is, you know, it's always hard for me. Technology is hard for me because I'm on the edge of, you know, I mean, I remember manual typewriters, right? And so technology is not my realm. My brain doesn't lend itself very well there. But when you went to Seller Central, Inventory Lab, any of those tools, did you feel like that, you know, you could easily catch on to what was happening with that, with the technology side?
Yeah, I've never been as up on technology as like a lot of kids my age, I think. Like I'm not really big in social media and that kind of thing, but where I'm different from my mom and people like that, I pick up on things much quicker, and I am able to work through it and figure it out a lot faster than she is. And
So
so
you can see
I think
somebody,
that's really
you
helpful.
can see somebody do it and then just duplicate it right away. You don't have to
Yeah.
labor over the videos like I do, you know, and really, you know, Debbie's nodding her head. She kind of relates. She's like,
I still
what?
list something. I don't know how to list things. She's the one that does it. So yeah.
See, I should have spread my kids out. You know, I had all of mine in a row. So they're all a year apart, 36, 35, 34, and 33 now, right? I should have gotten me one like a Change of Life Baby or something like that that's back there at 22. And then I would have that kid, you know, do this part of it. And, you know, I would just go do the buying. But I imagine, Kylie, you like to buy too, don't you?
Yes.
Yes.
So tell me,
A lot more daring.
so tell me so you guys have a mix of arbitrage, like online arbitrage and retail arbitrage, or do you favor one over the other?
We do online arbitrage a lot more because we got into doing more and more lists. We do want to get more into RA. We have done a lot for Q4 because of War Room and things like that. But now that we have buyers, we do want to start doing more RA.
Gotcha.
Our buyers are doing all of the online.
So you guys were you were sort of stumbling your way through your first Q4 in 2018. By 2019, you're starting to get your feet under you going, wait a minute, this thing could really be a deal, right? This could be.
Yeah.
And is that when in 2019, you really started kicking it in gear, didn't you?
We didn't really. I don't think, well, 2019 was a very trying year. We went through a lot of changes within the family. We ended up selling my family's insurance business. My husband changed his job and he was gone during the week. My dad went through stage 4 lung cancer.
Oh my.
It was just one thing after another. And really, Kylie was the thing that held me together because there were times that I just couldn't think because there was just so much going on. And she'd be like, come on, Mom, let's go do this. So I kind of had to resolve that I would do one thing for the business a day. And sometimes that's all I could do, just one thing.
Right.
But it was just one thing. I thought if I could just do one thing today to improve tomorrow for our business, I'll do it. And I kept thinking, how long can I continue doing this because I was wore out, but I think, okay, could I do it today? Don't think about tomorrow. Can I do it today?
Come on.
I'm like, okay, I can do it today. So we go down in the basement and we box up the next shipment to go in. So
let's park here just a minute, because you have some really great life skills. There's a lot of people who will go many, many years of their lives before they understand a really basic life skill. And that is just do one more thing. Just do one. I'm not asking you to climb the mountain. I'm not asking you to do that. I'm just asking you to take one more step. That's all. I'm not asking you to do next week or next month. I'm just asking you to do today, right?
yes,
And
exactly.
I would imagine that this life skill comes from you having a real vivid faith in God. Is that correct?
Yeah,
So you just learn not to quit, right?
Right.
And you have that strength to lean on. Wasn't it beautiful that during that period of time when so much was chaotic in your life, you had Kylie, who was the bulldog, you know, she got that course set and she knew where to plug you in, you know, and empower you. Guys, this is in the Amazon Seller Tribe. This is really the power of what we call plus ones. Plus ones are positives. You know, they are. A plus one is not somebody that you have to drag along like a concrete block down a dirt road. A plus one is someone who empowers you to be better. So Debbie is Kylie's plus one, and Kylie is Debbie's plus one. And those kinds of partnerships in the Amazon selling space, whether it be your spouse is your plus one, whether it be your a mother-daughter, or we have some mother-sons, we have some siblings, you know, sister, my sister, and then Michelle Teeter and Nikki Welch are sisters, and they empower each other. Those kinds of synergies help people move forward when they think they can't. And if they don't have that, if they get in the middle of Amazon Seller Tribe, they'll find it there, won't they, girls? They'll definitely find some synergy to help them move forward in their journey. So now you're in 2019, kind of a topsy-turvy year. You roll out, you survive, right?
Yes.
Survive.
We survived. We finally hit 10,000 in sales a month in the end of 2019. And we felt like that achieved something there.
Well, and it did, because you didn't quit. You didn't quit. This is huge, because you can feed off of the power of not quitting for a very long time if you need to. But then 2020 rolls around. It's January 2020. You know, by then you're in Amazon Seller Tribe, right?
Yeah.
And tell us what happens then.
So yeah, again, I go back to Tracy to say, you know, we joined Amazon Tribe, the Facebook group, and then you guys are promoting Tribe 3. And again, I asked her, you know, we're kind of on a budget. I'm not sure if we should pay this. What do you think? Yes, by all means, if you can do it, do it. And so we're like, okay. And every day we go for a walk, no matter the weather. And that's kind of our business meeting time. And we're like talking about it. And okay, if we're going to make this a business, then this is what we have to do, no matter the cost. So I tell you, looking back now, I think, why was that a hard decision? Because that was the best thing we could have done for a business by far.
At the time, you might have thought, this is kind of big money. You know, we're doing 10,000 in business a month, you know, and this is big money. But from the perspective you have, and we're going to get to that, because we're going to talk about numbers in just a little bit. From the perspective you have now, you look back and you go, that's little money compared to what's happened to us since then, right?
Right.
Isn't that amazing how that changes? So Tribe 3 enrollment opens. So that's our coaching round, Tribe 3. And Gary Ray opens memberships for Tribe 3. And of course, without giving any of the secret details away, tell us what happened then.
Well, right away from the get-go, you just know that Gary is just kind-hearted. He has a spirit about him that just makes you so hopeful to know that what he accomplished, we can do. So we set out to do what he told us to do. And every time I would get fearful and anxiety, Kylie would say, Gary says, if you do just what he says to do, then we can be where he's at. So we did it. I wasn't ready for it.
The best student in the history of ever. Come on, you hear it?
Yes.
You act on it. You hear it?
Yes.
You act on it. Perfect.
Yeah.
See,
That's what
Gary
we did.
says, see how many times I've said that, right? Gary says, and then you just do it and it works, doesn't it?
Yeah, we didn't do anything secretive that he didn't tell us to do. What he said to do, we did it. Now, we didn't do it maybe as fast as we should have done it because we grew, but I was reluctant to hire people. I did not. I went into this thinking this would be a job for Kylie, an income for her. I didn't go into Amazon thinking, we would hire somebody. That was so foreign to me to think that we would hire somebody. And so Kylie can tell you where we're at with our business right now.
Well, we recently.
Now, before we do this, get closer to the microphone, Kylie. Come on.
So we just hired over, about a few months ago, we hired 2 buyers and then 2 prep and shippers. So now we have 4 total people working for us. And it's been a lot easier, taking a lot of pressure off of us.
Yeah.
Because we get to the point we can't do it anymore without them.
That's
We
right.
have no time left.
That's
There's
right.
nothing we could do.
You get to the point where you're like, I'm capped. I'm capped. But my business opportunity is not capped.
No.
And isn't it amazing that when you went through the training in the tribe coaching rounds, you were able to really get that, not only the nuts and bolts of how do you bring somebody into your business, but also to have that change in your heart and your own mind to become an employer
Yes.
instead of the hourly wage, so to speak, employee.
Right.
So literally you're founding your business empire, right?
It is.
I mean, you guys are CEOs of your business empire and letting them, right? Letting
Right.
them do the nickel work, as Gary
Right.
says.
Right. But blessing
And
them. 'Cause
you make the $1,000 decisions, right? Makes everything change. So now I want you guys to decide. Here's what I want you to decide. Between the two of you, I want you to decide who gets to say what happened to your sales
Well,
since
you
the boss is, Debbie's pointing to the boss. Okay. So Kylie, probably the youngest CEO that I know. Scoot on up to the microphone and tell us what just happened to you guys this past week, past week. I don't remember what day it was. Was it Thursday or Friday?
We got it on the 15th.
On the 15th. A beautiful day to remember. You will never forget that, because you'll say from here forward, you'll say that was our first. Our first. Okay. And now, Kylie, you be the one to tell us what happened to your sales.
We got to $1 million in sales in the rolling 12 months.
And the crowd goes wild. And the confetti falls and the balloons fall and the band plays. Debbie, tell the honest truth. When you started the business, when you first talked to Tracy Anderson and she said, Amazon seller, did you have any idea that in this short period of time, you'd be spending $1 million business?
Oh, no. I mean, when Gary told us to write down our goal when we first started Tribe, my goal, I wrote down 50,000 a month of sales. I put 70,000 first. I crossed it off, put 50,000. And I thought, oh my gosh, that seems so far out there. How can we do that? But Gary said, do a far off goal. So then I wrote down 70,000 a month again. And we made that by May. So yeah, it's
You just
amazing.
blew that one out of the water, didn't you? You're like,
Yeah.
forget 70. Let's just go on to 100. Let's just keep going, right? Kylie is over there on the other hand, probably going, adding zeros, you know,
Right.
like, give me that. I'm adding a zero. We're
Right.
going someplace.
That's right.
But
Yes.
I'm super, super proud of you guys, you girls. You know, the ladies are coming on strong in Amazon
Right.
Seller Tribe, aren't they?
Right. We can do it.
Woo! So the guys think they're all hot stuff, you know, so they're putting up big numbers, you know, and us ladies, you know what? Don't count us ladies out, because I'll tell you what, you know, we can raise babies, we can work jobs, we can take care of houses, we can take care of a million things, spin them all. We got plates going all the time, don't we, mamas? All right, spinning all these plates, and at the same time, building businesses that can change lives. So you guys really now are onto something that is life-changing. You know that, Debbie, if something were to happen to you and Brian, Kylie is well fixed to go right on and be able to grow in entrepreneurship, grow in business ownership, and provide very well for herself, I might say, right?
Yes, you can.
What a blessing
Yes, you
that
can.
is.
And
So tell me some of the things that you guys face that during the nitty gritty times, and I'm not talking about the 2019 year where, you know, your life really was in an upheaval. And guys, if you're an Amazon Seller Tribe and you're going through one of those years, you're not having the $1 million year at this point, or maybe you had $1 million year and then life set in and just, you know, threw all the furniture upside down in your room of your life, and you're having to rebuild. Don't worry. These kinds of things happen. We have life to live, don't we? But we can always put our shoulder to the wheel again and begin to build. And Kylie and Debbie are a great example of that. So what kind of things did you run into? What was it all just, you know, music and rainbows when you hired your people and it just went off without a hitch and nobody, you know, and that you got the right people the right time, the first time, and or drill on that just a little bit for us, because this is scary for people.
it is scary. Every day there's an issue that we have to overcome. We have to figure out, and sometimes it takes a couple of weeks to iron things out. You know, we did get very fortunate with the people we hired. We didn't know any of them ahead of time, but one of them, we got hired. I reached out to the church secretary and asked her to announce it into a Bible study, and I got a reply that way. Another lady just happened to mention that somebody she knew was wanting a job. And so we got very fortunate that we still have the first people that we hired. But we had a lot of issues with our first buyer. The credit card would not work for her. And so that was a huge, huge hurdle for us. She'd get like 10 orders, and 9 of them would be canceled. And there was no reason why. We reached out to the credit company. We reached out to the store. We still don't know that mystery, what happened. But eventually we got her another card and through a different company, and it's a little bit better. Sometimes it does get canceled still, but it's better. And then UPS is another issue with us for some reason right now, but that will get ironed out. So there's always something that you have to get over. What's some other
One of the things that was really hard for us when we got to the point we couldn't do any more work or take on any more things. We grew so fast, we needed more help. And so we were struggling a lot of the times until we finally got our buyers and then the pepper and shippers. We just took on way too much and we couldn't do it anymore. So then we finally got through that process of hiring, and then it got a lot better after that. But
you know, some people will let that just taking that step, that next level step, we call it, they'll just, they'll let that cap them for the rest of their Amazon sales period. Or they will work themselves into the ground, and as Gary calls, burnout, you know, and then they're like, you know, I don't want to do this. I can't do this anymore. But isn't it better to make money off the efforts of others? I mean, they've got to have a job. Did you ever think that you were being an employer? I mean, you're giving people opportunity to earn wages that makes a difference for their lives. You know, this is a beautiful thing. Entrepreneurship is a glorious thing. Kylie, have you been able to use some of the things that you've learned in your entrepreneurship courses and that sort of thing, or even mindsets? Have you been able to apply that to your Amazon journey?
Oh, I'm sorry. What was the question again?
The entrepreneurship courses that you took, have you been able to apply some of that to your Amazon journey?
Yeah, I was thinking about it and recently, and I did learn a lot in because I took business classes and entrepreneurship classes. But I was thinking recently, I've learned so much more from the tribe and just being in the tribe and growing our business than I ever could have in school.
I think a lot of people have said that taking Gary's coaching rounds is like getting a master's degree in business.
That's what I've said to Kylie many times. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it really is, because you know, there's more to selling on Amazon, building a business on Amazon. I mean, just getting to $1 million sales is one thing, but building a business is another thing. There's a number of features to that. And it does take business experience. It does take an experienced business leader to bring you through those things and to encourage you. I think sometimes we overlook his saying, because he says it frequently, you know, little hinges swing big doors. And you don't realize that you can make this little change, this tweak here, and it makes a huge difference to the way your business moves forward or doesn't move forward in some cases, right? If people are not tending to those little hinges. So what would you say to Amazon Seller Tribe members out there right now who are listening to your interview, and they're going to say, yeah, but that's Debbie and Kylie, you know, they can do it, but probably not me.
Yeah, I would say definitely if you knew us, we're from this hip little town that, you know, there's not much special to us. We just know how to work hard, and I'm sure that anybody can do it if they are determined to work hard for it.
And I think Kylie hit on such a powerful thing when she said, Mom, Gary Ray says, blah, blah, blah. We're going to do this, right? Just follow those who are doing it, that have that experience, and just walk behind them and just do that same thing, right?
That's exactly right. He shines the way for us, and all you have to do is just follow what he said, and you can do it too.
And reap the benefits. So ladies, how does it feel to be sitting on top of this mountain, this beautiful mountain called $1 Million Land?
It feels pretty good, but I tell you, every time we goal, it's like, what's the next goal? Time to go.
Kylie, what is the next goal?
2, of course.
You will definitely do it.
Honestly.
You will. Is there any reason why you can't hit 2?
No.
There's no reason.
No.
I mean, once you've proven 1 to yourself, then 2 is just the natural flow, right? Yeah. Because you get better at doing it. It's not like you have to do anything massively different. You just have to do everything you just did a little better, a little more masterfully, right?
Right.
Employing people a little more masterfully, helping them become a little more productive, you know, ironing out those credit card issues, you know, that keep you from online orders, those sorts of things. All those things start kind of, you know, flattening. The bumps start flattening out, and then your leap from 1 million to 2 million becomes almost easy. You know, almost easy. I think I'm thinking of Carol Kessler right now. She and Griffey, her son, you know, I'm thinking of her because she's a woman and she's working with her child as well. And he's a 20 something as well. And their leap from 1 million to 2 million was, she said it was almost without thinking. That's how it just happened. It was just like almost without thinking. So of course they're well on their way to their next level, which will be 3, 4, and 5, knowing how they're going. So same really for you guys. The sky's the limit. I can't wait to have you sitting here with me the day that you announce to Amazon Seller Tribe that you're a $10 million seller. I can't wait.
Oh.
It's absolutely possible. I absolutely believe it's possible. And I can't wait for that moment. Super excited for what you guys have done this year.
Thank you. We're excited too. And, you know, the nice thing about the tribe is there's so much value other than just the training that we got, you know, just with the friendships that are formed. And I just get a chuckle every time I get on there reading people's comments to each other. It's just a community, a family that is like no other place we have found. And
Yeah.
I read the book, you might be familiar with Rocket Fuel.
Right.
About how good successful businesses have an implementer and a visionary. And I thought, Kylie and I thought, we're both implementers. We're not visionaries. And it quickly dawned on me that the tribe is our visionary. You know, Gary and the people within the tribe, we never thought this could be possible, but then people posted that they were reaching big numbers. And it's like, okay, well, we caught the vision. We can do it too then. So
Come on. You are preaching good, girl. You are preaching good. That's right. You know, I never really thought about that before, that something that you don't find within yourself or within your business partner can be found in the tribe, and you can use that to fulfill that part. And you worded it beautifully, the visionaries and the implementers. And for me, I get to be the great believer. You know, I'm the believer because I have seen it happen so many times that people without any experience whatsoever and just sort of wandering around, bumping into walls, and then all of a sudden it comes together for them and they build massive businesses on Amazon. I've seen it so many times that I just refuse to disbelieve. You know, I look at anybody in the tribe and go, it's absolutely possible. I'm not just saying that. I'm saying that because I have seen so many people do it. You can't convince me otherwise. And guys, in Amazon Seller Tribe, you're looking at 2 beautiful ladies who have done it. They're sitting on $1 million in sales, over $1 million now, $1 million in sales in the rolling 12-month period, because they just heard what the coach said, did what the coach said, and the results speak for themselves. Could not be more proud of you girls. Could not. Love you and appreciate you so much. It was a great joy to meet you down in Kentucky. And then I remember sitting there in the living room with you, Kylie. You're across maybe Debbie was too. I don't know. She might have been talking somewhere else, but sitting across the way there in Gary's living room. And it was a great time. I can't wait until we get to all be together again. Hopefully in 2021, we're cooking up some good stuff. It's going to be great, and super excited about it. So guys, hug each other for me. And thank you for being such awesome members of Amazon Seller Tribe. And thank you for being with me in this interview today.
Yes. Thank you very much.